Good morning and welcome to our presentation on Hotel Norongorongo's revenue simulation. We would like to start by presenting our management team. Luianda, Rooms Division Manager. Daniel, Pricing Manager. Yitzin, Chief of Channel Management. Clara, Facilities and Service Manager. Bianca, Head of the Marketing Department. Myself, Head of Hotel Development. Increased competition and a market with higher expectations of discounted prices. The erosion over the last 3 years has been as follows. In January, we received a positive future outlook, with the economy and market area all on the rise. 12 more companies have moved into the local area, increased jet services have been authorised in the local area, and the funding for the regional promotional budget for leisure travellers has been tripled. Due to such a positive economic outlook for our hotel, our reserve funds were made available for us in increasing the value of our hotel as we saw fit. For our positioning strategy, we decided to offer high-quality products and services, positioning ourselves in the minds of the customers as a top-quality hotel. In this sense, we chose to set our rates slightly above market average and focus on bringing up the general standard of the hotel rooms and services to match the higher price. For our pricing strategy, we chose a skimming market strategy, which meant we charged prices just slightly above the market rate in competition.
Hello, I will be analysing revenue, occupancy rates and comparing it with the market. We decided to do this by 1. Analysing why we have decided something, 2. Comparing decisions with the market, 3. What are expectations versus what actually happened, and finally at the end, recommending changes. For the revenue and occupancy analysis, we started by analysing whether we were filling up rooms and making more revenue on weekdays or weekends. We found out that occupancy rate and revenue is higher on weekdays for the first 6 months. This is because initially we decided to focus on the business-oriented clients and therefore decided to adjust our facilities and prices to cheaper rates during the weekdays, hoping to attract more customers. Compared to our competition, we are the only ones in the market with cheaper prices on weekdays, apart from the Grand Budapest Hotel, where weekdays and weekends are kept the same. This puts us in a great advantage with our chosen target market. As you can see, in July we reached a major turning point where revenues and occupancy rates shifted and were now higher on weekends. This could be due to the fact that the lower weekend prices appeal to new customers, or because we have integrated into the market with a good reputation and therefore appeal to not only business clients but also leisure clients. As a result, we decided to keep the rates this way, higher on weekdays for the rest of the year. Still with the aim of attracting business clients, but also very satisfied with the positive results on weekends due to the leisure clients. After our turning point in July, revenue and occupancy rate remained higher on weekends until the end of the year, alongside an increase in total revenue every month until October, where total revenue started decreasing and kept decreasing until the end of the year. This decrease in total revenue was a shock, as we had expected a steady increase. This could have been due to the fact that slowly we shifted from a business hotel to a more leisure-orientated one, proved after the turning point in July with higher revenues on weekends after then.
Throughout the year, we continue to upgrade our services and facilities in order to attract and maintain the premium market segment to ensure that the price-value quality map was above average and remained competitive. There is a very strong increase in the profit contribution from transients for the month of March, especially from the bar standard premium. There was an increase of about 50,000 due to our increase in advertisement for transients in February. By May, following the implementation of our environmental program and upgraded services, we noticed a clear increase in our reputation. On top of the environmental program, we also added a business center, which was available in June. We can then see a clear increase in the group segment profit contribution as our facilities and reputation were in line with their demands. From this table, we can also see that August was the most profitable month of the year, with the highest profit contribution from every segment. This can be explained as for the month of August, there was a general increase in price throughout the market, but our prices didn't rise and were in the lowest price range in the market. This increase was stable until November, where we can see a drop in the profit contribution as our prices increased above the average market prices for groups. Considering all these changes, throughout the entire year, our main revenue came from the bar standard segment, which represents about 30% of our total revenue.
The strategy we chose for analysing our distribution channel findings was to review the reasoning and amount spent on marketing for all channels, their direct revenue effects, and then comparing them to the competitive set to evaluate their effectiveness. We chose direct, GDS and OTA as our primary distribution channels to fund and market for, placing our funding as 50%, 25% and 25% respectively. We did not choose wholesale channels, as this has a main focus on tools which did not respect our positioning strategy on business travellers. The findings from our initial actions and the trends that it went on to follow was that the majority of the revenue came from our direct channel, almost tripling that of OTA and quadrupling the GDS revenue on average throughout the year. These results were as expected, considering that OTA was only representative of the transient market segment and the majority of our funding went towards the direct channel, the main distribution units. The trends on this graph are clear. The profit contribution clearly increased around April and then took a steady decline until back to our average profit generation. When correlating this to other factors that occurred over this time period, we can establish two things. Firstly, the increase can be directly linked to the increase in funding put towards marketing in the direct and GDS distribution channel. Funds will increase monthly until peaking in October and remaining the same until the end of the year. Secondly, we can associate the deadline in direct profit contribution due to the competitive market. This can be observed in the data we have provided on our market index in the middle of the year compared to the end of the year. What one can see from these 3 months is that our market momentum increased hugely throughout the year. However, we peaked in terms of market index in all channels in May, June. Whilst we continued to increase the funds we put to marketing each different segment, by December we had particularly low market index in direct. This can be put down to the fact that the competitive set had caught up with our direct pricing strategies. We will now go on to analyse the room rates for the bar standard to get an idea of how the competitive set adapted to the varying rates. What we can see from this room rate analysis, bar as an example, is that we had initially had a head start on our pricing which brought us an advantage over others. Therefore, even as we continued increasing our advertising and focus, our competition was clued in with the differing rate impact and the market acted accordingly. What we can establish from our yearly review is that we maintained exactly the channel management strategy we struck out to achieve. From all the direct, GDS and OTA data we collected, our revenue gains represented the general revenue increase and decrease that occurred at the beginning, then during the low points of May and June.
Hello, I will analyze Norongorongo's yearly business performance. Throughout the year, our revenue generation index was 1.06, market penetration of 1.02, ADR index of 1.04. All of them are above the market, so this is promising as our ongoing performance. At the beginning, our aim was to catch a fair market share gap to test condition of market. We set a skimming price strategy, meaning our rate is much higher than the market average. Our advertising or refurbishment costs are quite low. However, other hotels cost much more than ours and have lower rate, meaning our performance in the first 2 months was below expectations. From March to July, we continuously add more services and do some refurbishment, and allocate more cost to advertising and marketing as well. Our ADR index fell from above the market to below the market average, because we lowered our rates and our competitors insist on increasing rate. Our ADR index fell from 1.15 to the lowest 0.96 in July. So we attract more guests through this way and increase profit gradually in this period. Profit trend goes down from August to December. Our RevPAR index always keeps higher than the market baseline and even is an increasing curve. In summary, we had generally good performance throughout the year after we realized our first 2 months were following the wrong strategy and adjusted immediately and performed better and better since then.
By looking at the transformation of our market indexes, one can conclude that we made the wrong decisions early on, and judging by the market's reaction to these decisions, we were able to identify our missteps and make moves to recover. I will illustrate this by investigating each index, how it changed, and most importantly, why it changed. As the management team of Norongorongo, we had decided to apply a market skimming pricing strategy, and thus we set high rates in order to attract premium guests. In our first quarter of operation, we had a high ADR and relatively low occupancy, which can be expected in such a pricing strategy. In order to not make impulsive changes, we persisted with the strategy for the following month. After more dismal market indices in the subsequent month, we realized that our prices were far too high, and the only way to justify them would be by renovating the premium units, which was not feasible. In light of this, we decreased our prices and saw the occupancy and RevPAR rising in the second quarter, which vindicated our decision to reduce the prices. With our competitors increasing their prices, we noticed that our ADR index was getting lower. However, instead of trying to match their prices, we decided to see how their market would play out. After noticing that we're capturing a lot more market share in the third quarter, and observing a steadily growing RevPAR index, we decided to remain in the price range that we're operating in. Both our indices for market penetration as well as revenue generation were well above the baseline. Finally, for the fourth quarter, we decided to increase our ADR because although we would lose some percentage points with regards to the occupancy, we could still maintain or even increase the RevPAR. And as illustrated for the fourth and final quarter, our average rate index increased and we managed to keep the RevPAR constant.
Now we're going to be talking about market penetration indexes. At the beginning of the year, Hotel Norongorongo did not really have substantial penetration in any of the market segments and was performing below the market. There was indeed fluctuations in our initiative because it was to improve our facilities and adjust prices to the market forces. However, in between April and May, our penetration into transients and discount segments greatly improved and superseded the market baseline. We, however, failed to address the needs of the group segment, resulting in a lesser performance of this segment. As we continue to invest in the restoration of soft goods and adjusting Hotel Norongorongo's rates, our penetration in terms of transients and discount segments continued to fluctuate. However, nonetheless, it was still increasing through June and July. Even though we were steadily grabbing the demand for groups, our competitors were being able to accommodate substantially large groups during August, which resulted in a steep loss of potential lucrative groups as well as the fact that it was not our primary target market. The first quarter was the basis for the months to come. In terms of guest satisfaction concerning our facilities, rooms, front desk, meeting rooms, and associate facilities, our clients were not disappointed. However, we didn't reach the expected level of satisfaction. Due to our investments in facilities and refurbishments, our satisfaction increased across the board in the first quarter. Concerning quarter two, when determining our progress into the second quarter, due to the construction of facilities as well as the adjustment in rates throughout all of our market segments, as you can see, the table representing the percentage change from quarter one to quarter two, our clients were not as satisfied with the rooms, front desk, or meeting rooms. However, they were considerably impressed with our associate facilities. We determined that in the next quarter, focus will be to ameliorate our facilities. This will make us more appealing to the business travelers and increase our transient demand. In the third quarter, we were able to capture the satisfaction of our guests in terms of the front desk and meeting rooms with the renovation of these facilities. As beneficial as this might be, the current construction on the associate facilities led to a decrease in satisfaction. However, the effect will come into fruition 2 months after the requisition. In the final quarter of operations for Hotel Norongorongo, the satisfaction in terms of the front desk increased. However, for the other facilities such as reception or meeting rooms, the satisfaction decreased. This could be due to the ongoing renovations that were finished halfway through quarter four, but there was not enough time to allow the satisfaction to be aligned with the renovated facilities. Now we're going to be analyzing the effectiveness of RFPs to Hotel Norongorongo's operations. Throughout the course of the operational year, there were several group RFP proposals. Even when they may have been lucrative potential for business and ongoing relations, we determined that it was counterproductive towards our business strategy. Our strategy is to capture the ever-increasing demand for both transient and discount customers, and even though it would be beneficial to our operational efficiency, we would not be able to propose a reasonable group rate that would benefit our revenue streams. Our observation was that our rates were too high to satisfy the groups and compete with our competitors' group rates. In continuing our efforts into our target segments, we may have foregone the revenues of the groups. However, we were able to pick up the clients displaced from our competitors' hotels who chose to accept the RFP.
To conclude, we have short-term and long-term recommendations. For the short-term, we propose more competitive prices within the market of pre-existing hotels. So as we've noticed, we have a great market share, our guests are coming back, and thus we have the potential to increase our prices and thus increase our revenue. Secondly, to determine the most optimal cost per distribution channel and see which one brings the most revenue to our hotel. For long-term recommendations, we recommend maintaining and improving our facilities to match our business clients' expectation. This includes renovating our premium rooms and our luxury rooms in order to be able to really market that to the market. And finally, to improve our mobile functionality and to stay ahead of technological advances. So as we have seen, this is a very mobile age, people are on their phones all the time, and we need to capitalize on that in order to be more appealing to guests and be able to differentiate ourselves accordingly. Thank you very much for attention, and we hope you enjoyed the presentation.